Zoom.
Okay.
So when we see ourselves in the third place, live now. Oh, right. When we're live. Oh, you and right. Yes. Well, hello, everybody. I still see starting soon in the Twitch stream.
I don't see anything.
I still see now it's a delay. There's a delay.
Oh.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Matthew.
And I'm Andrea.
And welcome to CounterCast, because life shouldn't just be about work, and we think magic is a good way to spend your time.
Yes, it is. Now, Matthew, let me set the scene for you.
That sounds great. Please do.
Set the scene. So, walk into your game store, and you're like, I'm a relatively new Magic player. I think I'm going to try one of these challenger decks. And I'm going this way because if I were to set a scene within a scene, Matt and I were talking about what do we want to talk about today?
Yeah, and
we thought that we would be talking about the fact that there's maybe too much magic going on right now.
Far too much magic.
While we were researching,
yep.
We came across challenger decks.
Yeah, we had an emotional experience, right? So we were like, wow, there's too much magic. Like, am I excited about the new like gangs of New York 1920s after Kamigawa set? And then we were like, I kind of am, actually, if I'm honest. The art looks really cool and that's awesome. And then I was like, well, am I really going to get excited about more Commander products? Like, am I really going to get excited about Commander Baldur's Gate that's coming out? Also, yes, I am kind of excited about that too. But then we saw these challenger decks.
Because it was part of the comprehensive, or tried to be comprehensive, list of things that we drawn up for the upcoming stuff that Wizards is putting out. And upcoming, I mean, there's already new Streets of New Capenna. Capenna? That sounds like a kind
of know. I don't know how to say
either.
That. Capenina? Capenina? Capenina?
I'm just gonna say Capenna, and then hopefully it's right.
That's great.
So like there's there's already like previews coming out, you can see pictures of cards and whatnot, and I feel like it's too soon, but that's just me, and that is a different story for a different day. Today was going to be that day, but it's not anymore.
Nope.
And among the list of things of which include Secret Layers, Modern Horizons, Jumpstart 2023 or 2022, excuse me, Commander Baldur's Gate. There's like one more that I don't remember. New Capenna. There's also
double feature.
The Innistrad double feature, which I've heard is completely not worth your money. Don't buy it.
I kind of feel that way too.
I
like black and white cards.
Too. Why would you want the same cards just in black and white? Like,
well, especially because like proxying is a thing, right? And also, if you're listening to this and you don't know what proxying is, please, for the love of God, like Google proxying MTG cards, because like don't spend hundreds of dollars on a cards that you might not like playing with. Like use proxies. Your table should like proxies, and if it doesn't, come back to us in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a whole episode on proxies. I've just decided.
So in addition to the list of all those things, where was I?
Challenger. We found the challenger decks.
So we found the challenger decks, and I've realized that they've been out for quite some time. They've been a thing that Wizards has done for quite some time. And according to the Wizards website, the purpose of these, and I'm going to read it off because I'm
mad.
Let's see, where is it? I was going to read it off and do like an exact quote. So this is from the website from Wizards, Challenger Decks 2022, and it reads, Challenger Decks 2022 arrive on April 1st, April Fools, haha, maybe it'll be a joke, bringing with them new strategies for players who want competitive standard format fun, and I have problems with almost all of the words in that sentence.
Right, and let's get into that. Let's start with the good things. Okay, so first of all, Challenger.
Maybe we should outline like what the Challenger decks are.
Yeah.
So there's four. One is, and brace for it, y'all, mono white aggro.
Yes, that's one of the which we don't love.
That's one of the sticking points. Another one is, wait for it, Dimir control. The other is Gruul Stompy. Okay, big
which
dumb
is
creatures.
fine.
That's fun.
It's okay.
Then we've got Rakdos vampires.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so that's fine. It's probably, it's aristocrats, sacrifice, that kind of thing. Very cool. Okay, now Matthew,
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say is
take it
sort of
away.
like there's positives here, right? So let's talk about it. So Wizards of the Coast does a really good job of keeping costs inexpensive. And I know that you all probably thought you heard me say expensive because that's what we talk about all the time. There's $30 cards and $40 cards and Black Lotus. Oh my God. But actually, Wizards of the Coast does a lot of work in terms of reprinting cards that are very expensive and in terms of providing your local game store with lots of copies of cards so that the demand for collectors around the world does not spike prices of cards so that you can't afford a Goldspan Dragon. Now, if you want 4 Goldspan Dragons, you're going to have to come out of pocket. They're $30 a card. But
you're going to have to take out a second mortgage and maybe cut off your arm. And
well, I don't know that $120 is going to require a mortgage, but still, but that's a pretty rare example. Most cards are less than $1 or up to $2 to $3, right? That's where most cards are at. Actually, probably the vast majority of cards are less than 25 cents. So
and if you're spending anything more than $2 or $3 on a card, you should save it.
Get a proxy. Do the proxy, for the love of God. Anyway, so there's some good stuff in here, right? Okay, so I'm going to do some high level maths. We pulled some numbers. I enjoyed numbers. So the Rakdos vampires, I'm going to start with the lowest. It's a $74 worth of cards in there. You're going to buy the deck. It's going to be available April 1st. So like the prices might change, but like largely before the deck comes out, it's $74. And in this case, there's some good stuff here, right? Den of the Bugbear and Blightstep Pathway are both lands with cool abilities, or Blightstep Pathway is a dual land, right? So this is something that is expensive now, and so it's harder to build multicolored decks. So when this comes out, it's going to be easier to get your hands on a Blightstep Pathway. Therefore, it's going to bring the value of that card down, and we're going to be in a better place to build more Rakdos decks. Building a Rakdos deck is something I would recommend to everyone. It's the thing everyone should do.
Yes.
Dimir Control, on the other side of this field, is $158. That's the highest of the 4 decks that we're going to talk about today. But the 2 of the 3 top cards that are expensive are Shipwreck Marsh and Ice Tunnel, both of which are dual lands. So in the Dimir Control deck and in the Rakdos Vampires deck, we see some significant positives. Thank you to Wizards. Also in Gruul Stompy, we have Rockfall Vale. This is also a dual land, so a bunch of those pieces. So that's good.
Yeah.
Those are the good.
Yeah.
But there are also negatives here, right? So I'll stay on the Rakdos Vampires for just a second. Immerston Dragon. So we'll read that card to you so that you can understand it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So Immerston Predator, is that the one?
Yeah, sorry, it's a dragon. I call it a dragon.
Okay.
Yes.
Immerston Predator is 2, a black and a red. It's a 3/3 vampire dragon with flying, and says, whenever Immerston Predator becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Immerston Predator. Hold your breath, friends. Sacrifice another creature. Immerston Predator gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
Yeah. So Kaldheim card, very cool. Generally, I like 99% of this, and then the 1% of it that I hate just ruins the whole card for me. First of all, it's a flying 3/3 body for 4 mana in Rakdos. I'm happy with that, right? Not perfect, but some cool evasion, whatever. Its first ability, when I tap it, I exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter. I'm not used to Rakdos things getting +1/+1 counters, but I don't hate on that. That's fine. That's a cool little mechanic. Sacrifice another creature. Its second ability. We're in Rakdos. Sacrificing a creature is a great thing. Having a sack outlet's nice. The problem on this card, ladies and gentlemen, is that it gains indestructible. And that is just a thing Rakdos shouldn't have. Rakdos is not allowed to have.
Indestructible is typically a white trait, as far as I'm sure most of you guys know, and putting indestructible on this fucking card is a color pie break. I mean, I would argue that putting a +1/+1 counter is a color pie bend, which means you're bending the rules a little bit for that particular color. But a color pie break is you're completely throwing them out the goddamn window. And that's me personally what I feel like. And if you want to hear more about that, then there's a couple of episodes on Mark Rosewater's podcast, Drive to Work, where he talks about it. It's called Bends and Breaks. It's really good. I highly recommend it. But I think that this is a goddamn color pie break. And if you are trying to, as the beginning of that aforementioned article that I talked about earlier says, if you're trying to, find new strategies and learn more about the game, I think that this is an example of a shitty example of trying to do that, because you're not, like, this is an exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
But
and
as
like,
Matt brought up earlier,
yeah, go ahead.
If they're putting this kind of thing in a challenger deck, does that mean that Wizards thinks that this is going to be the norm?
Exactly. That's my problem, right? Like, the most of this card is great, and like color pie breaks are annoying. But if you have one Immerstern Predator in your Rakdos deck and you draw it, and I have to go out of my way to destroy it, like, fine, whatever. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that there are 4 of these cards in the challenger deck. This isn't one of the many strategies in this particular deck. This is the deck. This is what you're doing. It's this and Valdarian Bloodcaster, which is a great card. It has to do with all these blood tokens. Wonderful new mechanic that Wizards brought in Innistrad, in the latest Innistrad. But like, just as you were saying, Andrea, like, you're telling people, you're telling new players that this is what Rakdos does,
and it doesn't do that.
And like, either you have misunderstood your MTG arena data that tells you that lots of people run Immerstern Predators in Rakdos decks ever since Kaldheim hit arena because they had the rares to burn and they weren't bothered about like actually buying the card, or you have like you're trying to signal to us that indestructible is the next thing that you're going to sort of bend or break the color pie towards for Rakdos. And in either case, I'm not excited. In either case,
right.
I have
upset
feelings.
Either way, whichever message that Wizards is going with, I agree. I don't like it, because one, if you're going to do the indestructible route, then what the fuck? Like, sorry, God damn it, I shouldn't swear. If you're going to go to the indestructible route, then why are you taking more stuff from white? And then if you're going to go the route of you've misread your arena data, then you Wizards have a problem because you've misread your goddamn arena data. So like, what? I don't know. It just.
So that Rakdos, mostly good, a little bit bad. We're gonna go to Gruul Stompy. I'm gonna go over that for you guys really quickly, and then we can sort of talk about. We could go into Dimir, and we can go into mono right aggro. In Gruul Stompy,
everyone loves big dumb creatures.
Big dumb creatures. Some trample in there. Some you know what I mean? Like, lots of ways to remove them, so it feels like fair magic. But also, I'll run you over if you don't have it. There's something. Goldspan Dragon is in there. Everyone
but
loves
they only give
good.
you one copy.
Exactly, right? So like I was saying, it's a $30 card, but you're only getting one of them, right? You get a bunch of Magdas, which will allow you to ramp up the treasures, which is nice. It's nice to see a Gruul treasure focus. You get a Ranger class. Ranger classes are very expensive, but they're allowing green to do what? To create a creature,
which is what green does.
Right, ramp that creature, and then search for a creature card. This is all green stuff.
Those are all green things. Green ramps all day.
Yeah. So $125 total value. Gruul Stompy, very nice. Rakdos Vampires, what I give it a 7 out of 10. You did a good job. You got most of their. Take out the Immerstern Predator.
I mean, I feel like that just the presence of the Goldspan Dragon alone is more than enough to consider that this challenger deck is worth it, especially since, according to TCG Player, as of this recording, most of the decks are around $27 or so. I mean, it's not going to be released until April 1st, but that's what they're projecting.
Sure. So then Dimir Control. You want to talk a little bit about Dimir Control?
Oh, Dimir Control.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this deck list. So Dimir Control, it's the most expensive out of all of the decks, if you can believe it or not. It's $158, with the two top most expensive cards being Shipwreck Marsh, which is a dual land, and Ice Tunnel,
Yep,
which
also
is
dual land. Yep.
a snow land, a snow dual land.
Yeah.
And then Memory Deluge is the I think it's the most expensive, one of the three most expensive. When that set, and it's two and two blue. It's a source, or excuse me, it's an instant. Wow, I can't read. And it says, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Put two of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It has flashback for 5 and 2 blue.
Yeah, so a little bit to unpack there. When you cast it the first time, you're looking at the top 4 cards of your library. When you flash it back, since you spent the 7, you're looking at the top 7 cards of your library. You're putting 2 into your hand. So you're getting 2 cards, which is fine. This is a normal blue thing. And you have a flashback for late game. So it's a nice early game, draw 2 cards, and sort of like card control of what you're drawing. And then late game, you can do it to sort of search as much as you can to try to get through.
And that sort of thing is traditionally a blue thing, to like
Yeah,
go back and like get stuff up. What comes first to my mind is Jumpstart from Ravnica. That was an Is It thing mostly, and blue did it for the most part. So yeah, there's an example of that. But I mean, like I feel like I don't have as much of a problem with Dimir Rogues as much as I thought I did, because is it Dimir Rogues? It's Dimir Control.
No, it's Dimir Control. The current challenger deck that exists is Dimir Rogues. That's the current one. This is Dimir Control. Yeah.
Okay, then I don't. I need to look up Dimir Rogues then. Whoops.
No, you're talking about the right one.
Okay.
No, Dimir Rogues is the old one. Dimir Control is the new one that's with the
that's coming out in April. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like Hall of Storm Giants. I don't see anything that jumps out at me on this one. I mean, I'm a little annoyed that there's like 3 blood on the snow in this thing.
Right.
Like I don't know how much blood on the snow is right now. How much is blood on the snow? Well, please let me.
Oh, blood on the snow is cheap because it's a snow sorcery. Yeah, because if you didn't spend the money to put snow lands in your deck, then it's not nearly as useful. And otherwise, you're paying 6 for a modal board wipe, which is, there's better ways to do that. So
and also, I mean, I feel like it's 51 cents. But like just getting the amount of snow lands that you need is the expensive part. Right,
exactly. And so like what's nice here is that they are going to release a bunch of snowlands with these, which is good because it allows you to, then sort of we'll drive those down as well, which is nice. But yeah, so yeah, honestly, Dimir Control, I'm not a huge control person, but like that's fine. Like this, there's an Ymrith Desert Doom, which I think is a fine, 5/5 legendary dragon, who I think is pretty cool. So yeah, so those decks are really pretty okay. Mono white aggro is a different thing entirely.
Did you hear my hackles get raised, y'all? Did you hear it? Because it just did. It just did. During one of our previous episodes, I bitched for the longest time about how much I hated mono white life gain and mono white aggro. And here it the hell is. Yeah. Right here, one of the decks that Wizard says, oh, you want to learn new strategies? Oh, you're a new player? Here's mono white goddamn aggro for you, kids. Serve that shit up on a platter and give it to you for $27. God damn, I hate that.
So yeah, you got your Elite Spellbinders, you got your Skyclave Aberrations, you got your Clarion Spirits and your Usher the Fallens. But come on, y'all, we know what this deck is. It's Luminarch Aspirants, it's Paladin classes, and it's Faceless Havens. That's what this deck is.
Now, and you might be thinking, wait a second, Matthew just said Faceless Haven. That's banned in Standard. And you're right, friends, it is banned in Standard. But do you know how Wizards is getting around this? Oh, please, children, pull up a chair because I have a story to tell you. So the Wizards website where you can find all the challenger decks, it says that, and this is a summary because I don't want to have to read it because my voice is already grating enough. It says that this deck is legal in tournament play for tabletop Magic only if the deck is as is and not modified in any way. Otherwise, in that case, you can play the deck with its 3 Faceless Havens. Since it is banned on Arena and Magic Online, and the Challenger decks aren't available on Arena and MTGO, then it's not an issue there. But like, why are we putting more copies of a banned card in Standard out into the world? I mean, I guess for Modern and Pioneer and whatever format that you want that Faceless Haven would show up in. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's, you know,
Yeah, and that's
not
interesting. Like,
pretty sure it's rare. So I don't know what
but it comes back to this idea, right? Of like you're you're potentially teaching new Magic the Gathering players how to what white is supposed to do, and you're doing it with you know, 2 cards, each of which are $3 or $4 each per card, right? Like I know at Arena, I run 4 Luminarch Aspirants and 4 Paladin classes, but that's because I had rares to burn when Kaldheim was out and when Adventures of the Forgotten Realm came out, and I you know just burned them and sure, do I see them all over the place? Sure I do, but in actual play, when I'm at my commander table, there's plenty of white spread across the decks that we play. We play about 15-20 different decks between 7 or 8 people at my commander table, and no one runs a Luminarch Aspirant.
Well,
no one runs a Paladin class.
I don't play white. I only play white when I have to because I'm not a bad person.
That's blue. You gotta remember that's blue. It's not. but so like it's interesting because I think this again might be a situation where Wizards is looking at their arena data and saying, "Oh, and people love Luminarch Aspirant." I mean, I think it's silly to exclude it because it's so much value. But at the same time, like I'm not going out of my way to put it into my commander decks. I'm not going out of my way to put it into my other decks. And the idea of including a banned card in Standard that you're reprinting as one of the land base for this this is just, it just seems truly ridiculous.
It seems like they're trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but like, are they trying to, like, well, I don't understand, what are they trying to teach here? What are they getting at? Like, why, like, are they saying, oh, well, in this situation, Faceless Haven is a good idea? But I mean, you can't play it in Standard, so what are you going to do? Rip it out and play it in your Modern deck? In that case, like, if you are new to Magic and you're playing Modern, I'm sorry. And I know that from personal experience because when I was new to Magic, I started playing Modern Merfolk and got the shit kicked out of me. Maybe that's me being biased, but whatever. But if you're pulling it out of your, you know, if you're trying to teach people, okay, you can use Faceless Haven in this scenario, but if you're pulling Faceless Haven out of this deck and using it in your Modern deck, then that's not this scenario, is it? It's, I mean, am I making sense here?
Tons of sense. I think you're making tons. I'm just trying to give you space to be able to say it all. I mean, I think, yeah, go ahead.
The other thing that is on my mind about this, the fact that these challenger decks are coming out in a month, 2 months. Oh, it's March, so a month. And you've got so many cards here that are from Kaldheim, Zendikar. That's rotating in September, y'all. That is rotating out in less than 6 months. So, I mean, what's the value in putting those kinds of cards that are A, really expensive, B, not likely that anyone would have, C, banned in a deck that's going to be rotating in out of Standard in a couple months? Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I'm looking at this Gruul Stompy deck, and I've got Briarbridge Tracker. Great value. 2 colorless and a green, vigilance 2/3. And when it enters the battlefield, investigate. As long as you control a token, it gets +2/+0. So essentially a 4/3, and you get a token. You get an investigate token. Investigate's a new mechanic that we've been introduced to in the last couple of sets. This is an Adventures of Forgotten Realms card, which means it's going to be around for a very long time. Easy chump blocker, vigilance in green, which is a nice bend. You know, there's 4 of those in this Gruul Stompy deck. Wonderful choice. Love the addition. Very makes me excited about getting this deck. But there's so many other choices that we've talked about that make me very wary of showing these or giving these products to someone that is, you know, learning Magic for the first time,
or is looking for new strategies, even
or that wants to build their card base. And like those are the things that I look at to Challenger for. Those are the things that the Challenger decks can be super easy for. You know, you get someone enjoying playing a deck before you introduce them to the endless time suck that is building a deck, right? That is the mini game within the larger game. And so I think it's definitely some choices that I disagree with here, but I mean, you tell us what you think. Tell us what cards you think are good or terrible in these Challenger decks. They're all up for everyone to see, and you can very easily download the lists and throw them into Card Kingdom's deck builder and figure out exactly how much they would cost you. Lots of different resources online that are really cool for that. But just dissatisfied.
Yeah. Although there is one card I didn't know was in the Dimir control deck that I really need in my life.
What's that?
It is Mischievous Categeist.
Yeah, you do need
cat
that.
spirit, and the art is so cute.
Yeah, it's on the sideboard, but the art is incredible. 1 colorless and a blue. Whenever Categeist deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Very nice. 1/1. And then it has Disturb, 2 and a blue. You may cast this card from your graveyard, transformed it to a Disturb cost.
I don't know what the other side is. The website won't show me.
I think Gatherer will. Yeah, so a cat-like curiosity is the enchantment aura that you get. Enchanted creature has whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and if it would be put into graveyard for anywhere exiled. So you get the ability of the 1/1 to put on anything else that you want for 1 more mana than what the original creature cost you. So I mean, card draw in blue from a creature, that sounds great. Yeah. Also, the cat-like curiosity image has like a person like doing a cat's cradle with like a
I do remember that,
which is like some cool art. That's definitely some very cool art. So,
but also a meow.
So all the points. I don't know, Andrew. Is that all the rage that we have? Thank you, Loose Coalition of Goblins and Drolls, for bringing that up for us. The nice cat picture. Is that all we have for Challenger 2022 rage?
I think that's it. I think that this was a worthy audible of our time. I mean, like I was really ready to start, foaming at the mouth about the fact that I feel like that there's more Magic than I can keep track of right now. Like it's too much. Like I'm feeling overwhelmed by the amount of Magic, and honestly, I can't afford that much like paper stuff.
Also true. Yes.
Like I don't have room for it. So, and you don't have room for it. No, I mean. But like once I saw those Challenger decks and once we started talking about it, I was like, no, I'm not foaming at the mouth at this. I'm foaming blood at the mouth of this. So like I need to talk about this. You need to talk about this.
What an image. Oh my God. That should be a Magic card. All right, y'all. This is it's been great. This is Matthew saying that if you're playing with jerks, just stop. If you need permission, I'm giving it to you right now.
And this is Andrea saying, stay safe from the Planeternities, friends. See you next time.